Despite having just turned 24, Luca Torre only broke into the club scene at a consistent level 2 seasons ago after moving from Fulham to Heracles Almelo. He was at Fulham for 6 years and barely broke 100 minutes in any one season. After he transferred, he immediately found playing time, playing around 2,500 minutes the last 2 seasons. Clearly the move to Heracles was a much needed move to jumpstart his career. Luca has used these strong performances at the club level to earn consistent USMNT call-ups in 2022, playing in 7 of 10 available matches. In my eyes, he has established himself as a lock to make the final roster and will be a key contributor in the World Cup. Luca's games for Heracles are somewhat difficult to access, so this video will analyze his play this season to better contextualize his performances. As many know by now, Heracles was relegated this season after an injury-plagued and drama-filled season. According to Jeff Carlisle, Luca has an agreement to leave the club this season with interest from teams in the Netherlands, Germany, and France. On the season, Luca's numbers are slightly underwhelming at only 1 goal and 1 assist in the league. His underlying numbers do fare slightly better with 2 expected goals and 2.5 expected assists in total. These numbers still don't indicate the strongest ability in the final third, but they do show it is likely that next season, with better teammates, as well as positive regression to the mean, to expect better output from him. His position with Heracles is typically as the more progressive-minded midfielder within a double pivot. However, due to injuries from mid-November of 2021 until late February of this year, Luca's positioning was ever-changing. He played in multiple different positions, as a 10 in a 4-2-3-1, a shadow striker in a 4-4-1-1, and a two-way central midfielder in a 3-4-3. It wasn't until February when Luca went back to his double pivot position. When played in the double pivot, he has shown strong progression qualities largely through carries. His progressive runs per 90 among central midfielders is 4th in the league at 2.38 per 90. He uses his exceptional spatial awareness combined with his quick bursts of acceleration to often leave defenders in the mud. His acceleration is a huge plus trait that he has that I think goes slightly under the radar at times. Despite his smaller stature, his ball retention ability is vital in recycling play or in getting out of pressure. He's intentional about being aware of his teammates and defenders' positioning and can either play a quick pass or turn and carry forwards. He has a proclivity to combine well with fullbacks either further up in the half space or in the build-up space in his own half. Currently, Luca's ability to progress the ball from one box to the other is his calling card. His chance creation output, however, is not the strongest and he does not get too many touches in the opponent's box. Some of these might be attributed to Heracles' struggles to create consistent chances, but I also think that this is an area of his game that he can work on. In the end, Luca's game might not ever have this consistent final third skill set to it. However, despite my concerns, I do believe that with a stronger team, that we can see improvement in this area. We have seen flashes of this ability for club and most notably for the national team. His urgency within the build-up carries over to the final third, where he looks to combine quickly or to be direct and attack defenders. He has crosses, layoffs, and quick combinations all in his bag in the final third. His passes almost always have the perfect weight on them and set his teammates up in good positions. Next season, I would like to see this skill more often and more consistently when he gets a step up in team level. Out of possession, Luca's shining trait is his pressing and ability to cover ground. Turn on any Heracles game from this past season and you will most likely see him zipping around the field, being a nuisance. In the league this season, Luca covered the second most ground total at 229 kilometers. Some of this may be attributed to the team's tactics, but Luca is still the only Heracles player in the top 18 of this list. Despite his relentless pressing, when he's in the cage he can struggle to win duels due to his smaller size compared to stronger players. He wins duels at a 47% rate, which is slightly below average for midfielders in the league. He could benefit from having a more defense-minded midfield partner to cover for him when he's caught further up the field or to help clean up any lost duels. He is smart enough to cover space and works to cut out chances before they can even form, but he struggles sometimes to keep focus and loses the man he should be marking. Defensively, Luca is far from a liability. Despite his main plus attribute being his work and progression, his ability defensively will not hurt you. Luca fits perfectly within Greg Berhalter's national team setup. He almost certainly won't be a starter during the World Cup, barring unfortunate injuries or a ridiculous run of form, but he can be an extremely valuable option off the bench. He can play in any of the midfield roles or even play on the wing in a pinch. His positional versatility will prove to be extremely important for this squad during the World Cup. Over the last year, every time that Luca has played for the national team, he has turned out a good performance. Berhalter has played him in a few different roles. He came on as the lone 6 against Morocco, but typically he will play as one of the 8s. This is the role I prefer him in. His role as one of the 8s allows him more freedom to press aggressively while also contributing in the final phase of play. With the national team, we see him doing far more work in the final third compared to club level. So what's next for Luca de la Torre? He's going to get a transfer away from his club. He clearly has shown that he's far too good to play in the Dutch second division, so this is an important move for him. I think that he would have a lot of success for a mid to top table team in the Eredivisie. He is familiar with the league and the environment, and he has shown success at a high level. Wherever he goes, I would like to see him work on a few things. After going on one of his long, mazy progressive runs from deep, I would like to see him add a more consistent final ball. Often I've seen him make that run, and then make the wrong decision, take an extra touch, or have a loose touch in the final third. I would like to see him be a little stronger in his duels as well. It is also difficult to say for sure how his game will translate to tougher competition. He has shown well against all competition levels for the national team, so the hope is that this is what translates over. Overall, I love Luca de la Torre's game, and I love what he can bring to the national team. I'm expecting a big few months coming up for him, and for him to really explode onto the scene in the second half of 2022, with the club move and the World Cup coming for him.